Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. I'm sure by now a lot of you have seen the Wall Street Journal article talking about the investability of Pokemon cards. It actually calls out how Pokemon is beating the S&P 500 and also a lot of the other high-flying stocks on the stock market. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a long time, you know this is one thing I have been fighting against since the very beginning of this channel, because when I started to talk about this stuff, people were very hesitant to compare Pokemon to the S&P 500 or investing in general. A lot of people didn't even want to call this an investment because it made them feel uneasy. People feel like investments have to be stocks, which are either mutual funds, index funds, ETFs, bonds. They wanted to, talk about precious metals like gold and silver. They wanted to talk about real estate. They didn't want to think that a children's card game could actually be an investment and a store of value. And that is what we are now seeing with multiple very well-known publications, multiple mainstream media news stories, which I'm going to show you. And I just want to show you kind of where we came from, show you some old debates I used to be on other people's channels, some old videos with very negative context towards Pokemon investing, and give you guys an idea that, where we came from to where we are now, it's a completely different landscape. When you talk to people now, they're more angry about Pokemon investing and less dismissive of it, right? Whereas a couple of years ago, everyone was very dismissive of it, almost laughing and mocking the fact that you thought it was even possible. So let's go ahead and look at some of this stuff. I think it's going to prove to be very interesting. First of all, here's the article. The hot investment with a 3,000% return, Pokemon cards. The franchise trading cards are beating the benchmark S&P 500 and high-flying stocks like Meta. We're going to read a little more about this in a bit, but I don't have a membership to the Wall Street Journal, so I can't see the whole article. But we're going to get back to it. A lot of it's shared on a LinkedIn post. There are news stories coming out on local news networks now, mainstream media. Here's one that a news network in Cincinnati did called Unpacked. What's pretty crazy about it is PokeRev was actually featured on it. But I'm going to play you a little bit from it. It's pretty crazy to hear some of this.
Basic lesson of supply and demand. The Pokemon Company sent us this statement, saying in part, quote, "We understand this inconvenience can be disappointing for fans, and we are actively working to print more of the impacted Pokemon TCG products as quickly as possible and at a maximum capacity to acknowledge this."
So, the Pokemon Company has now stated, this is not me, this is not somebody you heard about on X or on Reddit or on a Discord or some other YouTuber. The Pokemon Company themselves just told you they are printing at maximum capacity, their words, and they can't keep up. This is maximum capacity. So no matter what anyone out there tells you, oh, they're just not printing enough, they need to step up the printing, they need to do this, they need to do that, they're trying. They are trying. It's not enough. The demand is just too large. I also wanted to show this part. This was the Kevin O'Leary. I wanted to show it again. If you guys don't know, Kevin O'Leary started to get into sports card investing. He said on this interview, if you want to watch it, it's on CNBC, that he is allocating 5% of his portfolio to trading cards. And also that he said that he weights it the same as investments like gold and silver, like his crypto holdings, like other alternative assets. And he thinks it's right up there. Oh, with his watch collection, things like that. He thinks cards are right up there and should be as well respected as those other assets, which is pretty insane. To hear, a big time, like large investor, obviously on the show Shark Tank, invest in tons of companies worth hundreds of millions of dollars, to now say that about cardboard. This is another news story that was put out. I just want to play you a little part from this. This was from a station in Detroit.
Mostly empty.
No one could have seen this coming. Now you got celebrities collecting, athletes, actors, everyone, you name it, is collecting.
Some of the hype surrounding.
So the only part I don't like about that is he said no one could have seen this coming. I've been preaching it on YouTube for years now. It's just finally getting the recognition it deserves, and people are finally coming around to the actual potential in it. But like you heard, celebrities, actors, singers, whatever, they're all getting in on the craze, right? And because of that, all of their following that sees it wants to get in with them, and it's just creating such a larger market than we've ever seen before. This doesn't have to do with Pokemon cards, but it was put out by NASDAQ, one of the major markets in the U.S., and even they're putting out articles, is investing in sports cards a viable investment? And it goes on to go really dive into all the numbers. They really kind of break it down. Again, you can go read the article for yourself. It's on NASDAQ.com. But I mean, they basically break it down and show that, yes, sports card investing can be very profitable. In fact, it can beat a lot of traditional assets, which is pretty wild to have a major market, right, start to promote something that they can't even make money off of. They can't even buy and sell and trade it. You can't short it. You can't, buy options on it. And even NASDAQ is coming around to the point that, hey, these trading cards are now an investment. If you guys don't know, a lot of people talk about this. Pokemon is the largest grossing media franchise. It's not even close. 113 billion compared to 61. It's over double the second place. And then you keep going down and you realize, oh yeah, Star Wars is huge. Well, yeah, it's about the third of the size as Pokemon. That's how huge it is, right? Or you keep going down and you're like, what else? Oh yeah, Harry Potter's gigantic. Harry Potter's like, almost a fourth the size of Pokemon. And you really start to realize just how big Pokemon is when compared to all these other media franchises. It is the largest. That's why worldwide it is so popular. Here is LinkedIn, some of the people that were talking about the Wall Street Journal article. And again, some of these people have their positions, writer, editor, somehow won an Emmy, talking about Pokemon investing, talking about the prices. Who's this SaaS full cycle account executive? Got to catch them all before Wall Street does. I'm taking a page, or should I say a card, from Crystal Herr's Wall Street Journal piece. Talking, a lot of people now, guys, it's put out by the Wall Street Journal. If you didn't think the mainstream was looking at it now, the mainstream is looking at it now. And so you have a lot of people on here that are now starting to look at Pokemon as a legitimate investment. I want to show you some of the times we had to go through to get here, though. So I made this video, Caution, Proof PokeTubers Are Wrong About Pokemon Investing. This was put out 2 years or more ago. And a lot of people know Sean, Reserved Investments. He's notoriously bearish on Pokemon. SM Pratt, he's not bearish. He's, one of the channels I, started watching when I got back in the hobby, very knowledgeable. But even he started to get kind of bearish on modern Pokemon investments and made some negative videos. I kind of, I showed in this one. Mason, I'm friends with Mason, but we kind of went back and forth back in the day, but he was not on board in the beginning about modern Pokemon cards being investable. He put out a video about it, so on and so forth, right? And then OK Love, if you guys know him, I got invited on a live stream to debate Pokemon investing. As you can see, still to this day, I have the story by most popular. It is still his most popular live stream, over double his second most popular to this day. Here's the live stream. You can see we had a lot of people on there. Opossum Bud was actually on there. Probably the only time you'll see me on screen with him. We had Cool Trainer Ryan, Pokey Office. These guys, I believe this is Gray. I don't know Gray, and then Rob, obviously. I don't know him as well, but then OK Love was the creator of the channel. But basically, he had us all on to debate Pokemon investing. And it was really funny because I was really, kind of going back and forth with these guys. And what's funny is OK Love bought Ryan on kind of halfway through. And what was really great is Ryan, even though he's not like a Pokemon investor, that's not what he calls himself, he kind of reiterated all the points I had been making. And it even had kind of the chat start to like turn against OK Love in the narrative in this live stream, because Ryan basically was saying everything I was saying. He was just saying it as more of a matter of fact instead of a pro Pokemon investing type stance. So it was pretty crazy to see that. If anyone remembers Pokenomics, I used to be on a lot of his live stream debates. Ray's been on my channel before. Retro's been on my channel before. And we would always debate Pokemon. But all these streams, right? Everyone was, there was tons of people in the chat, always. I would say more than were for me, were always against me. Very negative about Pokemon investing. And it's just amazing to see in the last 2 years or 3 years where everything's come. It came from people gasping at the fact that you even mentioned it in the same sentence with the S&P, to now, it's being compared to the S&P by the Wall Street Journal, by, NASDAQ, by Kevin O'Leary on CNBC. It's seeing major news networks talk about it. It's kind of amazing just to see how far we've come in a couple years. And it's very exciting to see where this is going to go in the next few years, especially with more and more eyes being, attracted to it, and more people understanding this is not just a child's card game. It is a child's card game as well as a very legitimate investment vehicle at this point, a very legitimate store of value. And the other thing I wanted to mention is it was created as a child's card game, right? In 1999 in the US. That's when people like me were kids. So all that happened was the kids grew up with this game that was created, and the kids still want to be involved in it. And so at very least, I think most people can admit it's based for everyone, especially those that were children when the card game came out. It's not you reach a certain age and you can no longer enjoy it. So that's why I never liked that whole it's a child's card game argument, because hey, we grew up as children with it, and so if we still love it, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's pretty much what I wanted to share, guys. Like it's getting some mainstream attention now. Wall Street Journal, NASDAQ, CNBC, major news networks in their local areas. And just the humble beginnings of where we came from in this hobby when we started to preach the fact that, you could actually invest in this stuff. It's pretty cool to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll be back here in a new one soon. We're out.